Welcome back. Well, it's time now to continue our interviews of Dunedin's mayoral candidates, and Aaron Hawkins joins us now. Good evening, Aaron.
Kia ora, good evening.
How long have you lived in Dunedin?
I moved here in 2002 to study at the University of Otago and have lived here ever since.
Never left. Why are you running for the mayoralty?
My vision for Dunedin is a living wage city powered by clean energy in a healthy environment. That means safer cycling, a better bus service, warm, dry and healthy homes. I think we've achieved some great things as a city. In recent years, we're a UNESCO City of Literature. We're in the middle of a built heritage revival. Our education sector is booming. Visitor numbers are through the roof. Dunedin Airport had their busiest month of all time over the winter, but I think we still have big challenges in terms of shaping a 21st century city, and they require mayoral leadership to solve them.
What kind of leadership experience can you bring to the table?
Well, I'm a sitting City Councillor and Resource Management Act Commissioner. In terms of governance, I chair Council's Creative Dunedin Partnership and our Youth Participation Advisory Group, as well as co-chairing Local Government New Zealand's National Young Elected Members Committee. Outside of Council, I have plenty of experience in the not-for-profit sector. Currently, I chair the Dunedin Fringe Arts Trust. I'm also a successful campaigner. I played a very active role in last year's campaign to save our historic courthouse building, and before entering politics, took a very active role in the successful campaign to stop the Students' Association from privatising their radio station, Radio 1, where I worked at the time. So both of those things, governance and campaigning, I think are important in a mayor, and those are things that I believe I have the skills to bring to that job.
What do you think are the top two issues currently facing the city?
Well, climate change is not just the biggest issue of our time, it's the biggest issue of all time. Dunedin is no exception, particularly in our low-lying and coastal communities, and that challenge manifests itself in two ways. Firstly, how do we build a smart green economy locally to help reduce our impact on our environment, to lessen those effects, and secondly, how do we help support each other as a community through that transition, particularly as the impacts start to be felt through more extreme weather events, whether that's floods or droughts or whatever. So those are the two key things. Everything that we invest in as a city, from economic development to infrastructure to social well-being, I believe have to deliver on our environmental ambition of being a carbon neutral city. Without having a healthy environment, without having a safer climate future, our economy is stuffed in the long term basically, so we need to act now to protect that.
What would you say are the core functions of the Dunedin City Council?
I think Council has three main functions: networks, strategies and advocacy. So our networks are looking after water assets, wastewater and stormwater, our parks and reserves, our transport network, which is roads and footpaths and cycleways. Our strategies are things that we have worked through with our community, the ambitions and goals of our community that Council delivers with our key stakeholders, whether that's the University of Otago or Kaitahu or the Chamber of Commerce, and that's things like economic development, arts and culture, the environment. And thirdly, advocacy, which is all of the things that we want to change to benefit Dunedin that Council can't control directly, which looks like making submissions on proposed government legislation like the Earthquake Strengthening Bill, or helping lead fights to retain core services here in Dunedin like the hospital or the courthouse.
How do you feel the current council is performing?
I think we've done quite well over the last 3 years. We've managed to get quite a bit done, particularly given our self-imposed financial constraints. I think there seems to be a perception in some quarters that Council is more divided than it has been in the past, but I think really it's more balanced than it has been in the past. Local government in Dunedin historically has been dominated by a conservative worldview, and in more recent times the voters have elected a more diverse group with stronger voices for environmental and social justice concerns, which I think has been really positive.
What would you do differently if you were mayor?
I think we need to bring council to where people are more rather than wait for people to come to us. We spend far too much time cloistered away up at the town hall, and I think it's a very easy way for us to get out into the community and build stronger, or sadly in some cases rebuild relationships with them.
What do you think is the most important function of the Mayor?
Well, I think the most important function of the Mayor is relationship building and managing relationships, whether that's with councillors in terms of creating an environment where we can have constructive and robust debate, whether that's with the Chief Executive in terms of making sure council staff are delivering on our community's expectations, or whether that's working with external bodies, external agencies, whether they're in Dunedin or Wellington or Shanghai, to make sure that the city has the ear of very important people and puts its best foot forward on the national and the world stage.
Do you have the skills to lead the council?
I do. I'm pleased you asked that question. No, I have plenty of experience in terms of chairing meetings, and I'm committed to fostering a consensus-based decision-making approach where that is possible, but also leaving room for respectful disagreement where it's not.
Very well said. What do you love about Dunedin?
Well, Dunedin is incredibly lucky, I think, to have inherited vast wealth, whether it's our stunning landscapes or our world-class cultural and education institutions or our beautiful built heritage. They are incredible assets, and we should celebrate them, and I think in recent years we've been getting better at celebrating them, but we also have an obligation, I think, to preserve them for future generations so that they can enjoy the same quality of life, the same great things that we love about this city.
And why should ratepayers and residents vote for you?
Well, I'm offering a choice for the many people in Dunedin, like me, who are generally positive about the direction that the city is heading in, particularly economically and creatively. There is a lot of good feeling in Dunedin, more so I think than any time that I've lived here since 2002, which is great. There's a lot of really positive buzz. But I think also we need to put a stronger emphasis on our environmental ambitions, take a longer term view of making sure that we can maintain that into the future. And to do that, we need to start making a more serious commitment to those.
Dunedin City Mayoral hopeful Aaron Hawkins, thanks so much for your time.
Kia ora, thanks for having me.